Hello, I'm going to talk about this. The United States cannot support three major ethnic groups. Just cannot do it. This country doesn't have enough resources. It's not big enough. And it doesn't have enough resources. There's not enough housing. There's not enough jobs in the United States. The United States cannot support the white people in this country, the black people in this country, and the Central Americans and the illegals. This country cannot do it. It's unrealistic. And that includes, what about the illegals from the other countries? Now, I don't have much to do with people who are legal in this country. I'm talking about illegals. That's not including all the illegals from the other countries, from the Caribbean, from the Asian countries, etc. This country is bursting at the seam because there's really not enough resources. There's definitely not enough housing, okay, to support all three of these people. And I don't know why the United States think they can do that. The only way for the United States to support all these people is to take from one, like the whites and the blacks, and give to the Central American. Okay, that's what the United States is doing. They're taking resources from the whites and the blacks and giving them to the Central Americans. And I don't know why the Central American illegals haven't done nothing for this country. They haven't fought in any wars. The Central American illegals immediately get on welfare. You know, probably 99.9% of them are on welfare. Okay, even when they have a business. Now, the cheapest state will give the Central American illegals $300 per person per child. The government pays 100% of the rent. And these are for expensive duplexes. These are expensive apartments, expensive townhouses, etc. The welfare check pays for the car. So if they get a $400 or $500 welfare check, I mean, that's a car payment right there, or a truck payment right there. The government pays the mortgage. I see that everywhere. And this is how it works. The Central American illegal gets a mortgage from whomever. I don't know how they get it with no credit check. I don't know, but they don't have a social security number and they don't have a credit history. So I don't know how they get a mortgage, but they do. Okay, they get a mortgage. Okay, so they got a mortgage, they bought the house. And then they get their common law wife or their common law husband to move in, or their daughter or their son to move in. They are all getting welfare, and the welfare department says, okay, well, we got to have a housing subsidy. We have to have a housing subsidy for them. Okay, so the mortgage is $1,100 a month, and then they charge the government maybe $1,300 a month to house that other illegal person who is probably either their common law husband, wife, or daughter or son. Okay, so the government pays for the mortgage. They get, the common law husband and wife is getting welfare check, food stamps, all the rest. If they get a job, it's paid in cash. It's non-reportable. It's all paid in cash. There's this one illegal Mexican. He has a bakery, and I submit to you that he's paying them all in cash. There's nothing reportable. Okay, now when a black person or a white person get on welfare, they might get $60 per person per child in food stamps. They might get it. They might. So if you have 3 children, you're getting $180 a month. You're not getting $300. You're not getting $900 like the illegals get. You're getting $180 per month. That's for a generous state. Okay. Might get. And then when the black person gets subsidized housing, they got to live in ramshackle apartments, or whites. They got to live in ramshackle trailers that don't even have a good sewer system. Okay, so they're not living well. Okay, the blacks and the whites have to be content with ramshackle housing. So really, they're taking resources from the whites and blacks that they should give to the whites and blacks and give them to the Central American illegals. And I don't know why. They don't do nothing for anybody. What do they do for this country? Now, for example, there's a housing complex behind me where I live. It is 96% Central American illegal. There's a sprinkling of blacks, a sprinkling of whites that you can probably count on one hand. Now, they will be the first to tell you, no, we don't take Section 8. Section 8 is where the government pays 80% of the rent. They don't take Section 8, but yet they have welfare Central Americans living there. The government pays 100% of their rent. So even though it costs about $800 a month, the government is paying, $800 to $1,000 a month for those Central American illegals. And these are nice townhouses. The blacks that live there, the whites that live there, have to pay the market rent. But the illegals that live there, and it's like 96 to 97% illegal, Central American illegals, the government pays their whole rent. They don't pay market because they don't halfway work, okay? So in the grocery stores, Kroger, for example, okay, a produce clerk said he has to restock every day. Now, it used to be he just restocked once a week, but when the Central Americans came in, now he has to restock every day. Okay, because the Central Americans have made such a demand on food. Okay, and the U.S. government is fooling itself that they can support three major ethnic groups: the blacks and the whites and the Central American illegals. Okay, they don't want to give us a $1,200 stimulus check, but the amount of benefits that they give to the Central American illegal, if you add up the housing subsidy and food stamps and everything, amounts to about anywhere from $2,500 to $3,000 a month and upwards, depending on the state. Now, they give them all that free money, but they don't even want to give us $1,200 a month. And these are illegal people who are not even supposed to be in this country. Now, they give them this about $2,500 and up compensation, and don't want to even give Americans $1,200 a month in rent. I mean, in a stimulus check. Now, I don't understand why the government does this, why the government is so favorable to these Central American illegals. I really don't understand that. It could be that they're trying to have a labor replacement anyway, because they don't want to pay the white man and black man a certain amount of money, so just pay the Central Americans with no benefits a lower amount of money. That could be it. Because I remember in about 2007, there was hardly any construction going on, but when the Central Americans came over here in droves in about 2007, all of a sudden they started doing construction. They started building schools and building buildings and so on, because they were paying them probably half of what they would pay regular laborers. Have a nice day.